There's nothing more that a man can ever do. I trust the rains down in Africa. Once again, another song that I absolutely don't know the lyrics to. I just know the chorus of the rains down in Africa. I just know that, and I know the band is named Toto.
Okay, nice.
All right. Well, hello, hi, welcome.
My name is Du.
The show's name is Politics, although I call it Politrix, and the title of this episode is Love Lies Bleeding. My name is Presh.
And my name is Du.
Oh, hello. Nice to see you.
Thanks.
And yeah, let's just clean up from last week, right?
Yes, sir.
So last week you asked me what comic book storylines I would like to see adapted in a movie, and I didn't have a good answer. I mentioned Flashpoint, but that had already been done in an animated movie. Right? I obviously meant live action. So I spent the week thinking about this question, and I have some answers.
Okay.
Right? So number one, All-Star Superman. They made an animated movie of this some time ago, but basically Lex Luthor poisons Superman and he will die in the next few days. The story follows Clark and how he chooses to spend those last few days.
Yes.
Obviously, we won't be getting this anytime soon, as DC have just cast a new Superman and they're not going to kill him off immediately, right? But perhaps they could do a standalone movie that explores this comic, right? With one of the previous Supermans, maybe Henry Cavill, right? The reason I want them to adapt it is because I think it's the perfect encapsulation of Superman and shows why he is the best superhero. It shows his character, his, everything about it.
I think now that you mention it, all the other superheroes are kind of aliens or people who just gain extraterrestrial power. But Superman is a real alien, but he came with some good intentions, to the universe. And
he's the number one guy.
Yeah, so he does has a good character.
If we had to list the guys, he's at number one.
He's Superman. Right. And what else you got?
So, number two, Injustice. I played and I loved the game, Injustice. And I think seeing all the different versions of the characters would be cool.
Okay.
But again, this is extremely unlikely as DC is just beginning the universe. It's way too early to talk about, going to the Injustice universe now. I feel that this is something that would happen in like year 9 or 10 of this universe. Or if the universe collapses in on itself and they just start doing like random storylines, then maybe we'll get this one day.
That would be cool, yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Then in third place, and I'm kind of cheating with this one, right? Because I don't have a particular story I want to see adapted, but I just love the character of Green Lantern. The Hal Jordan version specifically, and I think he was done dirty by the 2011 movie.
The one with
Ryan Reynolds.
I don't think he was dirty, but maybe
I don't think that was a great movie.
Maybe they did him a little bit moist.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the Green Lanterns are the police of space, so they could be doing a buddy cop detective style movie, but in space.
Yeah.
And I think that would be very cool. Right.
The Green Lantern, I guess, team up with Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, they're different universes.
Oh yeah. Well, just like Guardians of the Galaxy, they're going around, doing the things. But we need a Green Lantern to enforce the laws because they are a little bit more justice and ethical type.
The Green Lanterns?
Yeah, the Lantern Corps, so to say, because they have like a whole motto and theme and
training.
Stuff. I don't know about the Guardians. They just seem like a ragtag.
They're not like a good comparison. The Nova Corps. Are you familiar with the Nova Corps?
I've heard of
In the first Guardians of the Galaxy, the Nova Corps are the people that protect. I forget that Nova.
Yeah.
The planet Nova, right? That's more like the Green Lanterns, more so than the Guardians of the Galaxy.
But the Green Lanterns are all over the universe, right?
Yeah.
And that ring just comes to them, whoever's worthy.
Yeah.
I dig it.
But similarly, in the movies they didn't do this, but the helmet of the Richard Rider.
Yes. Fate. Dr.
The
Fate.
Nova.
Oh, yeah.
Nova, his helmet gives that person powers, so that's the same thing as the Green Lantern's ring. So the Nova Corps are very similar to the Green Lanterns.
Okay, nice.
Right.
What else we got?
Number 4, and again I'm cheating.
Why?
I don't have a specific story in mind, but I've mentioned on this podcast that I was a big fan of the Batman of the Future or Batman Beyond animated TV show, right? In fact, I knew Batman of the Future before I knew Bruce Wayne. I saw a trailer for Batman Begins in 2005, and I was wondering why they were making a movie about the old man who helps Batman out sometimes. I love the design and aesthetic of both him and the future society in which he lives. I think it would be dope to see that in live action.
What does that Batman Beyond in his suit? What kind of suit does he wear in the animated
straight
show?
black, and there's a red.
Yes, and he got the
pointy
slick
ears,
little pointy ears. Yeah, definitely that Batman is very swag.
So yes, I was a big fan
100%.
of that as a kid. I actually rewatched it in the pandemic, and it's not actually a great show. It's like a 7 out of 10. It's good, but like the way I used to think about it, like it's a 10 out of 10, like can't be touched. But yeah, it's.
And this Batman, was it the same? Is it the same Bruce Wayne? But
No.
like, or is it a different?
It's a kid. His name is Terry McGinnis.
Yeah.
So his dad died, and he was getting chased down by thugs, and he just like goes down the wrong place, and he ends up at the Batman's cave,
Oh,
right?
nice.
And he steals one of the bat suits, which turns out to be the Batman of the future suit, and then he starts fighting crime, and then Bruce Wayne finds out about this. He's an old man at this point, and he
helps him out.
helps him out and gives him like he's the person at the computer who says like turn left or whatever.
He's the guy. He's the guy.
Right.
In the shade.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right.
Nice.
So again, number 5. This I haven't cheated this time. Right. It's another Superman story that explores the inner workings of Superman. To spoil it a little bit, what is the thing that you could give Superman that no one else can? And the thing is, he wants to see his home planet of Krypton again. And they did an animated version on Superman the Animated Series, but I think it would work even better in live action with the reimagining of the aesthetic of Krypton, which we've seen in Zack Snyder's movie and the 1978 Superman movie, but I think it could be done way cooler, with today's technology. Right?
That's pretty good, yeah.
Now you'll notice I gave 5 DC answers. I didn't plan on that, but I am a bigger fan of DC than I am of Marvel, right? But the thing is, with the Avengers movies, they've done all the like big things I want to see.
Yeah.
So, and it's DC that are far behind that don't. So that's kind of partly why.
You prefer one of the DC movies?
Yes. Because I think they've been done dirty by,
Just like the X-Men, I'm sure.
Yes, and yeah, if the X-Men keep on going, they might be my favorite. I don't even think of the X-Men as part of Marvel. They just like
it's like thinking of Cape Town when you're in another part of the province. Do you think it's much better than the actual team?
Speaking of which, in our new segment, this week the DA, who is a right-wing party and the official opposition party, released a controversial advert depicting the South African flag being burnt. Right? This has caused outrage, with many people calling it disrespectful. Now, personally, I have no problem with the metaphor being presented, and I think the backlash against it is silly. Right? What I do want to say is that the EFF, who is a left-wing party, sing a song called Skit die Boer, which literally translates to shoot the farmer, but is a metaphor for bringing down apartheid. And the DA pretends to not understand that it's a metaphor and equates it with an ethnic cleansing of white people. Right? This advert shows that they do know what a metaphor is. They are just, operating in bad faith whenever they come up against that particular song.
They must be trying to manipulate, That's how people can be, especially when it gets close and they're releasing advertisements.
Yes, The purpose is to get you outraged so that you will vote for them. But I think this has just brought more bad press They could have done they could have expressed this in a different way. But this is how they want to depict things. It's
someone had to give the go ahead. Someone had to be like, yeah, guys, release the advert, let's see what happens. So now they're getting the backlash, they have to deal with it. It'd be like that.
So our next story, I'm getting this from iol.co.za in a story written by Jolene Mariah Maharaj. Emergency workers are still searching for 41 people who are unaccounted for following the collapse of a building in Victoria Street in George. Rescue operations have exceeded 90 hours, with the death toll reaching 9 by Thursday. On Friday at noon, the George municipality said multi-agency command were using demolition equipment to lift the concrete slabs currently obstructing access to the lower floors of the building site. To date, 37 of the 81 trapped workers have been rescued. So here's a breakdown in numbers, right? So the total estimate number on site at the time of the incident was 81. 40 patients were retrieved, 12 died, 33 were hospitalized, and 13 are still in hospital. 41 are still unaccounted for. So now the reason this is getting a lot... sorry, you wanted to say something?
No.
All right. Now the reason this is getting a lot of media attention is that obviously it's a massive tragedy for so many people to lose their lives, right? And to be seriously injured by the incident, right? But the workers on this building were foreign nationals, right? This has led a lot of people to ask why so many foreign nationals are getting jobs when there's so many South Africans that are unemployed. And the reason is that the capitalists who are in charge of building this building are exploiting foreigners who can't complain about the low wages and poor working conditions because they are here illegally, right? A South African citizen is entitled to the minimum wage set by a government and therefore cannot be taken advantage of like a foreigner can. And I think the solution is to crack down on places like that exploit workers. And that's why we get incidents like this where they were cutting corners and paying the correct amount for people, and they probably cut corners in other places, and that's why this building collapsed. And it's a huge shame about this loss of life, and I hope the people responsible for cutting those corners are brought to justice, because it really is a tragedy when so many people die.
I'm sure that person who was just accepting that bribe money, because corruption is very real in South Africa, who was ever accepting that bribe money to look the other way will look the other way and see the news, with so many people dead. So that's tragic, yeah. Lots of people. I also heard about it on the radio. Just imagine a whole building, collapsing, people trapped for days and days, 90 hours plus, Sheesh. Hectic.
Yeah.
Moment of silence for the foreign workers who were trapped and victimized, scrutinized,
and lost their lives.
Yeah.
All right.
Next story.
I'm reading this next story from Variety, in a story by Todd Spangler. Right. In the latest twist in Paramount Global's M&A saga, Sony Pictures Entertainment and Apollo Global Management have made a bid to take Paramount private with an all-cash buyout offer of $26 billion.
Sheesh.
Sony and a private equity giant, Apollo, submitted a letter with a non-binding offer on Wednesday to Paramount Global, as first reported by the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. The bid, which would include the assumption of debt and could be negotiated, would be a premium over the company's current $22 billion enterprise value. The tag team buyout bid comes as Paramount Global's board special committee, established to consider M&A proposals, is evaluating the best and final offer from Skydance Media to merge Paramount and Skydance while keeping Paramount Global public. Cherie Redstone, the controlling shareholder of Paramount Global, is known to prefer consummating a deal with David Ellison's Skydance, whose bid is backed by Redbird Capital for Partners and KKR. I don't know what KKR is. I should have done some more research. So it's essentially a choice between more money and they lose all control of the company, or a merger where they, merge with another company, right? Personally, I hope that it's just a merger, because we're told that under capitalism that there's something called competition. And due to this competition, this is what keeps the prices low, because we will obviously all go to the cheaper manufacturer. Real life obviously proves this to be false because everything is so expensive. But never mind this, right? Competition is still good in theory, right? If Sony buys out Paramount, that is one major competitor removing another major competitor from the market. This is called an antitrust violation. The government is supposed to step in and to stop acquisitions like this, to promote the
fair trade,
competition. Yes, sorry. So the fact that Joe Biden's Justice Department isn't stepping in to veto this is a very troubling sign. A very similar thing happened in 2018 with Donald Trump, where the Disney Corporation bought Fox. That's why the X-Men are part of Disney now, because they were under Fox, and once they bought Fox, they can use the X-Men now. Which, in hindsight, is a very good move, because I love the X-Men.
So I guess it worked out for you, huh?
Yes, it worked out in the end, but theoretically it's a bad thing. So,
well, look, to me, as someone who's not so well versed in the difference in how they're making the movies, all that matters is when the movie starts, am I seeing that Paramount Pictures? Am I seeing the global production? Am I seeing, so if this means that there's one less title that shows up before the movie, then I guess that's okay too. But like you're saying, they'll probably have one after the other,
Anyway, now the segment everyone's been waiting for.
Yes.
Hashtag Beef Watch.
Is that what we're calling it now? Yeah.
And the last time we checked in, Kendrick had dropped Not Like Us. And I have Kendrick winning the beef 3-1. In the week since, Drake has dropped The Heart Part 6. Obviously a play on Kendrick's signature series of songs. The main thing from the song is that, number one, he said that he fed the fake story of having a daughter to Kendrick, which I don't think is true. In real time, when Kendrick dropped that song, Drake's first move was to deny that he had a daughter. If he really fed fake information to Kendrick, he would take a victory lap and show proof that he fed the fake information, right? The second thing is that Drake alleges that Kendrick was raped and cites the song Mother I from Mr. Morale and the Hot Steppers. The thing is, on that song, Kendrick is rapping from the perspective of his mother, and he's speaking about her being abused as a child. So, first of all, it's just gross to be like victim blaming somebody who was raped. Second of all, your reading comprehension is so poor that you don't realize that Kendrick is rapping from the perspective of somebody else. It's just very stupid, right?
It's not doing too good for Drake right now. Yeah.
The third thing is that the song is that he alleges that Kendrick's wife cheated on him with his manager Dave Free, and that one of his children is actually Dave Free's child. I don't know how to feel about this. If someone cheats on you, that's about that person. It does not reflect on you. But in terms of rap beef, it's the equivalent to a punch in the face.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
The fourth thing is that he doubles down on the wife-beating allegations against Kendrick, which, if true, is a fucked up thing, and in terms of the beef is another punch in the face, but not in terms of the beef is a, like, he should be in jail, abusing
something's wrong.
His wife. There's something seriously wrong there, right? So all in all, he got in some good shots, but it's not worth a point in my eyes, especially since he's clearly lying about, the first point, right? I still have Kendrick winning this 3-1.
So, to be honest, I haven't heard that The Heart Part 6 because, like, I also don't know how I feel. This guy stole the song title for, like you say, Kendrick's iconic song. All those, The Heart Part 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4 and 5, actually 3 and 4, I think. They were too good. Now he's just coming and messing with it, so I haven't given it a chance. But I also heard that this song had the most dislikes, or thumbs down sort of effect on whichever YouTube people were watching it. So that's interesting.
I'm guessing it's YouTube. I didn't hear about this. Sorry.
I reckon it probably is YouTube, because like I'm saying, it was just interesting. People don't like it. I've never seen anyone actively trying to dislike a song, but clearly this one was stepping on some toes.
All right. Shall we get into the context for the movie?
Yes, sir.
So the movie is directed by Rose Glass, who directed the highly acclaimed Saint Maud from 2019, which I unfortunately have not seen. Have you seen
Nope.
it?
Saint Maud. No.
Okay, but I think that was a horror movie. Right? I have no idea. Once again, I haven't seen it. The star of this movie is Kristen Stewart, who is my favorite actress or favorite working actress. Right? The general public obviously knows her as Bella from the Twilight series.
Yes.
But since then, she has chosen to parlay her success from the Twilight movies into working with in independent movies. So we were speaking about this before we started recording, and you asked, do you think Kristen Stewart gets paid more for the sex scenes? This is a very low budget movie. I think she took a pay cut, or not a pay cut, just accepted less money for this movie, just because it's an independent. It's not a big like Twilight. It's a lot more money than this small independent movie. So I think she took a pay cut actually to be in this movie, right? But since that time, since Bella in Twilight, she's been working with interesting directors, such as in the movies The Clouds of Silmaria, Personal Shopper, and Spencer, all of which I believe were Academy Award worthy performances, which is actually a similar trajectory to Robert Pattinson, the other lead of Twilight. So our two best working actors are the leads from Twilight. Which,
yes, Papa. Who would have thought?
Yes, who would have thought? Because especially my uncle, when they announced Robert Pattinson as the Batman, he completely dismissed it. He's like, oh, he's from Twilight. He sucks. And Pattinson was a really excellent Batman. So, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
For sure.
But
don't judge a vampire by his diamond skin. And I noticed this movie distributed by
A24, which we are a big fan of here on this podcast. They're very good at finding and distributing incredible movies. Although I'm not sure if this movie got a South African release. It either did or I just totally missed it. It did and I missed it, or it didn't and...
I don't think I ever noticed it in the movies or coming up. So...
Yeah.
It was very on the down low.
Yes, so we had to wait for it to come out on streaming, and here we are. That's why this movie actually came out in March, and we're doing an episode of it in May. So that tells you where we're at, right? I had this as my biggest surprise in a positive way at the beginning of the year. So we did a episode where we, just chatted about what are going to be the surprises of the year in a negative way and a positive way. So if it was a surprise in a positive way, it had to have some sort of a drawback. And the drawback for the public perception is that Kristen Stewart in it, and the public perception is that she's not a good actress. But I think if you watch this movie, you'll see how good she actually is, and it will be a positive surprise. That was my reasoning in January or whenever we recorded that. So can I put to you, did this movie surprise you in a positive way, yes or no?
I think so, yeah. It was a lot more interesting than I expected, and just the story, the way it was going, it left me questioning, it left me wondering. So yeah, I think it was a pretty good surprise. I wasn't sure what to expect when I sat down. I was trying to keep an open mind, but yeah, I think it was pretty good.
All right.
Nice surprise.
So first and foremost in this review, I have to say, Ed Harris's haircut is a crime against humanity. Jesus Christ.
He's got a full set of hair at the back and it's completely bald on top.
And yeah, I just, total dog shit in my opinion. It's awful. We need Jesus Christ to come back.
But his character, he's evil, he's sinister, look, he's just, he gives them mad creeps, bro. So, for his character, pretty fucking good, I'd say. Even though he got the awful haircut that looks just
a very
nasty.
well acted movie, I'll say that. Okay, I'll come back to that point, right? So, the plot is very thin and uncomplicated, right? If I had to just describe this, I would say a lesbian bodybuilder and a girl who works at the gym fall in love and
becomes complicated.
And it becomes I guess. I just said it was uncomplicated. How can I?
Okay, never mind. We can say that it's a sort of murder mystery, or the plot thickens as they uncover.
I don't think it's that complicated, right? I think it's fairly straightforward. There's no like twists. There's no like, oh, you expected this to happen. No, it didn't, or it just played out, right? And I only thought about that after the fact. The movie is much more focused on fully fleshing out the characters and their internal struggles. And I thought that this movie was successful in its choices because it kept me engaged throughout. I was so engaged that I didn't try to guess how it ends. I just wanted to live in the moment with the characters.
For sure, yeah.
The acting is outstanding. I love Katie O'Brien as the bodybuilder Jackie. She was bombastic and loud, and this provides a good counterpoint to the incredibly subtle but brooding work Kristen Stewart is doing. I also really love the chemistry between the leads. I don't know if you read the discourse online, but there's a vocal group of people who believe sex and sensuality should be removed from movies. And I heard on a podcast that since the year 2000, there's been a 40% decrease in movies with sex in them. And I'm glad that there are movies like this that are bringing it back and doing it well, because the main characters are not in love, right? They are in lust with each other. And the chemistry is important in showing that. In fact, if the chemistry was bad, this movie would have been a failure all around, true. Right? Yeah. But what did you say before me? Before we came here, you were like, you love suggesting movies that are very sex.
This guy is always suggesting sex movies, man. Why? I don't know, movies with sexiness in them. But it's okay, because last week he wanted to do challenges, and after I saw the trailer with Zendaya, I wasn't sure, man. It looked too sexy for me, but ain't no problem. Yeah, ain't no problem with it. This one was well done sex scenes, I'll say. So it didn't feel, more tasteful, we'll say.
Fair enough, right? Except for the two leads, and we said Ed Harris was very good. How did you feel about the side characters, like that lady who looks
my God,
she's a big drug addict?
What was going on with that? I was so confused. I think
she was there to catch them,
in the act.
Yes, in the act, trying to get rid of that guy's body, right? Dave Franco, or Young Franco as you call him,
Little Franco,
was he was good as a sleazy, like slime ball character.
For sure.
He just a pathetic guy.
For sure. So all the characters, the side characters in that little fucked up town, they all made a point to be, who they are. So I guess all the side characters were well played. Because there was that one creepy person in the town, there was the dodgy sheriff, so there were a lot of side characters that really contributed to.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone brought their A game. There was no actor who was like
It's
out
just
of place or
that
something.
girl,
like that.
dog, and her teeth, man. I could not get it. Like every time
yeah.
she came on the screen, I'm like, what is she doing here? Why,
Yeah.
dog?
Then I just want to say the soundtrack is banging from the very first moment in the movie where we see the people in the gym going at it. That song, I don't know what the song is called, but I was immediately drawn in, and not just by the soundtrack. The sound design in this movie is phenomenal. Like,
For sure.
there was somewhere like when they're in the hospital room after her sister gets beaten up, Jackie is holding something, and then she like lets go of it, and you don't realize how quiet it is, and suddenly you hear the music come back. Not the music, the sound come back quickly, and it gives you a jolt. And I really like how the sound gets played with in this movie. It's adds a lot of ambiance to the scene.
Especially the breathing,
Yes,
they
to
use
zoom
that
in.
sound.
Yeah, to zoom in, like all the sounds are very pronounced. When she was banging Dave Franco's head on the fucking thing, like you could hear the crunches and so just the sound design very well done. I have to take my hat off to the sound designers, right? So we see this theme of Kirsten Stewart smoking cigarettes, which is her drugs. It's being called, like early in the movie, they say it's not a drug, it's a poison or something like that. But there's the comparison of it being a drug, right? So Kirsten Stewart didn't smoke when Jackie left. Oh, sorry, sorry, I wasn't done explaining, right? So smoking cigarettes is her drugs, which is linked to her love of Jackie, right? Jackie similarly has steroids, which is a drug which is linked to Kirsten Stewart because Kirsten Stewart gave her the steroids. So they're drugs, it's very cliche to say, but the strongest drug of all, love.
Must be, bro. Must be. I'm just imagining, as you're describing it, a sort of Venn diagram where you have smoking and drugs on the other side, and in the middle, these two have just kind of met because they were the gateway. They sort of introduced each other, so to say.
Well, she was smoking cigarettes before.
Well, just for Kirsten, because
it kind of like she did it more openly when thing came into her life. Right, Jackie. Right. They use a lot of smash cuts, but they actually, I didn't say a lot, but they use sparingly and are effective in kind of jolting you into place while you you're just sitting with the scene and all right, here's the next thing. I like those smash cuts that they do. At first, I didn't realize what those cuts to red were. When it kept going red.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
But I think it was brilliantly done when it's explained that those cuts to red are Kirsten Stewart having flashbacks to her dad making her do her first killing. And she's traumatized by that, and she keeps seeing those images in her mind. And I thought, like I said, the way that was done was brilliant.
I mean, I would have guessed that because you can see when she's feeling very emotional, then it cuts to that red scene. And usually in a movie too, when they do have a sort of a different look or feel, then it could be, we've changed time periods or we've changed feelings or something. So maybe we're thinking about the past there. But it was, they were very quick. So if you really don't pay attention, you might not notice them. But they were also very violent and very...
it's him trying to induct her into the family business. And she's actively fighting to not be like him. At the end of the movie, she says, I'm nothing like you. And he says, wouldn't that be nice? So implying that they definitely are the same. It's just... she's trying to run from it. He's accepted it, which I disagree with. I think you can be whoever you choose to be. You know, you can act however you want to act. There's no like thing that forces you to act in a specific way. You get
Unless
to choose.
it's your fucking family members.
No,
I mean, that's what he was
I
trying to
believe
do.
you can choose to do better.
Yes, you can choose. Unless your family is fucking
Nuts.
on your neck and shit. But yeah, essentially at the end of the day, that's the lesson to take. You can choose. Sure.
All right. The last thing I want to say is that this is a beautifully shot movie with long tracking shots, overhead shots, and wide shots, and which all give a nice variety to it, so it doesn't get stale. That's
true.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
I think the drugs had a nice effect when she was hallucinating. I thought
Yeah.
that was a very interesting, you know. It brought a very
Surreal.
surreal and whimsical, you know, effect
Yes,
to it.
yes.
Because
So it's not so serious.
yeah, all of a sudden she was huge, and you know,
And also when she vomited out Kirsten Stewart.
yeah,
But again, back to the idea of the steroids being Kirsten Stewart. You know, her drug is her love for Kirsten Stewart. When she vomits because of the steroids. And when she vomits Kirsten Stewart. So I think that was another very well done thing. The only thing I can't put together is the final scene. Because everything was a hallucination up until the final scene where both Ed Harris and Kirsten Stewart see her as, you know, a giant. So
we need to know what it looks like.
we don't.
Well, we only saw like a glimpse because her back started changing form, you know. And I was thinking, this shit reminds me of Beast from Split, you know, when your mind is so geared into something, it can physically alter your body, you know. So something must have happened in her body that made her flip, you know, that made them so shocked or surprised. But I don't know what it is. So, you want to know?
I was thinking about the Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
she starts
The Hulk
getting
got
buff.
like fucking spinal things. Those, I'm thinking of Doomsday, sorry. He's also got those little prickly things that come out of him. Oh, nasty shit. But yeah, I wonder what she looked like for real to them.
So, what's your ranking of or rating of the movie?
I'd give it a 7. Yeah. I think, let me guess, what would you give it? Maybe a 9?
Yep.
Yeah. I got
It's
you.
not perfect, but extremely well made, and it you know, engaged me. Yeah, that's really all.
What
you
do you
can ask
think
for.
would have made it better for you? If I can say, I think.
I'm between a 9 and a 10 actually. So
Oh, okay.
so it's like
so it's very good for you.
it's
right?
very good. I can't think of what would make it better. So
I think
sorry to
for
interrupt.
me, the only thing that would have made it better, if there was a little bit more plot twists, you know, in the story, some places where, you know, I would have been like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting that,
Yeah.
you know. So a little bit of thriller vibes, but I guess for genre and what it was aiming for, it was very good.
But
Without
yeah,
making it like too much of an action or comedy or a
but
thriller or
yeah,
something.
like I said earlier, that's part of what I liked about it. That it was so straightforward. That it's just this love story that unfolds. Well, again, I said it's not a love story; it's a lust story
Yeah.
that unfolds like that. But yes, I gave it a 9. I really
Yeah.
loved it.
Pretty good, pretty good.
All right, so do you want to get into recommendations?
Yeah, let me tell you about the bullshit I was watching on my.
What were you watching?
The Ultimatum, South Africa. OMG. These people, dog. So they got a couple, 6 couples, right? There are 5 black couples, 1 white couple, dog. Now everybody enters the show. Now they have to choose to be with another person. First of all, the way these people chose was very messed up, you know. But anyway, fate has its own way of working. So the one couple who did not actively choose to be in a couple, they were just by default, they worked out to be the best probably. So it was always interesting to, what I like about reality shows, especially with couples and the way that they interact, is just seeing their love languages, the way they communicate, some of the things that they do is just so ridiculous. Other things that they do are very nice, realistic. They have sweet, good gestures. So, yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster. I wouldn't say watch it, if you don't really like reality TV. But, yeah, it was pretty interesting, I'd say. I think I've watched like 9 out of the 10 episodes today only, so, yeah.
Do you want to give a ranking?
Nah, because it's bullshit. Fucking reality TV. I don't know. I wouldn't actually want to rate reality TV because I feel like the rating must be below 3.
It's similar to me, like, I don't really rate documentaries. It's reality TV is like a documentary for humans.
It's true. And it truly is, because when you're watching it, you can sit and you can see how people are acting, and you're like, this is very good or very bad. There was one lady on there, she was just a terrible, awful person. She was so insulting, she was so rude, she was so disrespectful, But at the same time, you can kind of see where she's coming from sometimes. Other times you're like, nah, this girl is crazy. So, yeah, for the people's sake, yeah. But that's what I was up to. Tell me, what did you watch this week?
Did you watch anything else?
I did watch the Snoop Dogg movie, The Underdogs. That was a pretty good story. Snoop Dogg has got his podcast, so it was cool to see Snoop Dogg moving everywhere. He got the mic like in his Hummer. Got the mic everywhere. He's ready to go.
He's one of the ops.
Yeah, he's one of the ops, I guess.
He is. We're a podcast. He has a podcast. Yeah. We're actively against each other. He's the ops.
Oh, yeah. Well, this was for fictional purposes. I don't know if he has a real podcast.
He's potentially the ops.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was a cute story of how he came into the little kids' lives and, made a difference. So he became a positive role model after he realized he was a very shit person. So I guess that also needs to happen. You must realize that you are shit before you can become this shit.
Very wise words.
Yes, thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Well, do you have a rating? Actually, let me guess. Let me guess the rating. 7.
Yeah. For sure. I think when I saw the internet database, people gave it 6 or 5, so I'm okay with the 7 because I enjoyed it. I found it a little bit more touching than a normal story, would be, so to say, of a similar category. But all of them, actually, now that I think about it, The Iron Grid, The Blind Side, well, just a bad example, but all these movies where they take a team. And what's the Longest Yard with Adam Sandler, where they take a team and they really make them work hard. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's very inspiring stories.
They usually kind of a riff on Seven Samurai.
Oh, really?
We watched Rebel Moon, right?
Yes.
Where they essentially, the Seven Samurai, they prepare the town to do something. So Adam Sandler is like a samurai who comes and prepares everyone to play football.
For sure. Then I enjoy that sort of movie. Yeah, I should watch the samurai movies.
Well, there's only one.
Okay.
All right. Well, what would you rate? You already said. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's all for now that I can think of. What were you getting into?
So, a few weeks ago, I watched the first 3 Die Hard movies. I was speaking about it when we went to watch Godzilla Kong, right, in the car. And I've had 4 and 5 sitting in my watch later queue for weeks now. And I thought I'd finish the series. So Die Hard 4, subtitled Live Free or Die Hard, is actually kind of underrated. People don't talk about it at all, but it has a lot of good action and some chemistry between Bruce Willis and Justin Long. Although it doesn't have the chemistry of Die Hard 3 with Samuel L. Jackson. It follows them trying to stop a cyber terrorist who is attacking the United States security apparatus. Again, it has some good acting, but a little bit of unrealistic in a series of movies that errs towards realism. I give the movie a 7.
Okay.
So The first Die Hard was supposed to be a reaction to like the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, ripped hero. John McClane is just a random guy.
Yeah.
He was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he had to step up and shoot some people. So Die Hard was initially about like realism. Both 4 and 5 are
they're getting a bit unrealistic.
Entirely if 4 is a little bit unrealistic, then 5 is entirely unrealistic.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, 5 subtitled "A Good Day to Die Hard."
Yeah.
Right. His son is a CIA agent who's in deep undercover mission in Russia and gets arrested. So John McClane goes to Russia to help him out.
Wow.
The plot is a bit convoluted and silly, and the action isn't as good as the previous installments. The worst part of this movie is the lack of chemistry between Jai Courtney, who plays the son, and Bruce Willis. I give the movie a 5. I thought it really sucked.
Alright.
No good.
A Good Day to Die Hard, yeah.
Have you seen either of these?
I must have seen them a long time ago, but it would be an interesting marathon to go through, Die Hard's 1 to 5.
Anyway, now the reason I watched the first 3 Die Hard movies is that Blank Check was doing a series on the films of John McTiernan, and he directed Die Hard 1 and 3. This week I watched the final movie in his filmography, which is called Basic. And despite its name, it's a very complicated movie with several twists.
I feel this is one of the thrillers, sort of.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I might have watched this. Tell me a little bit more about it.
It's about a military squad that goes missing and the investigation into their disappearance. I enjoyed the movie, but there are just too many twists that make the movie convoluted. If it were a slightly more clear movie, I think it would be way better. There's also some horrific acting, so I'm giving it a 6.
Alright.
I think a 6 is actually kind of harsh. Maybe somewhere closer to a 7, because I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, but there are very obvious flaws in its making. So yeah. After the John McTiernan Blank Check released a new series about the movies of Satoshi Kon, who was a Japanese animator. I'd never heard of Kon before, but I'm excited to explore his filmography. He has only made 4 movies, starting with Perfect Blue, which is about a pop star who is getting stalked. It's a tense thriller that explores the relationship between famous people and their fans. This is the first movie in a long time that genuinely upset me and had me feeling low for a while after the movie ended.
Yeah.
On top of this, it's a technically very well made and has gorgeous animation. I give the movie a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
And again, this is another one where I'm like, what's wrong with it? Why can't I give it a 10? I'm very close to just saying fuck it, 10.
I guess Perfect Blue is an animation.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Very well made, and like what I said about hand drawn. I don't specifically know how he made it, but it just looks gorgeous. And it's very interesting to see the different types of animation. Now that I've started watching a lot more movies and expanding my palette, I used to just think, oh, it's a cartoon, who cares? Now I'm looking at the designs and how
the technicalities,
yes.
The effort, the energy that goes into making cartoons, I'm sure is not easy, bro.
Definitely not.
Even things like,
This is why it's upsetting when you have like AI that just takes people's work and then spits something out. And people say that that's art. No, that's stealing from actual artists and doing bullshit.
For sure. I think for me, art must be unique and an original thought,
Yeah, that's what art is about. It's about seeing somebody create something. Seeing a computer just grab certain things from, other pieces of art and outputting it is not actual art. But, we can all disagree
Yeah, agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Fucking
They can they can make the art, but like, you know, watching a computer making the art is definitely not gonna be as satisfying as watching a painter or a sculptor or someone doing.
It's not as impressive.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Wait, what are we rating the movie?
Perfect Blue. I gave it a 9.
Not Perfect Blue. This movie we watched.
I gave it a 9.
Oh.
We spoke about this.
Oh, okay. Sure. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, please remember to rate, review, subscribe, give a like, etc. Importantly, it needs to be a 5-star review.
5 stars, please.
You can find all our links at paicip.com. That's PAICIP.com. Please tell a friend. Tell that friend to tell a friend. Tell a family member.
And tell your uncle's dog too. Because dogs, I think they communicate in a different sort of way. Yeah.
Alright, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Alright.